This is Beer in Front, part of the Beer Media Group. Every week I'll talk to people in and around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now. Welcome to episode 257 of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and Beer in Front is a charter member of the Beer Media Group. Sometimes things just fall in your lap. Happens all the time. But I'm thinking for this week's show, I got nothing. I had nothing. I was just going to do a quick solo 10-minute show and be done with it. But on Thursday the 15th, I get an email from Emily Hutto over at Radcraft, and she was mentioning this Belgian Import Festival that's happening next month in Denver. Lo and behold, 14 hours later, I'm talking again to Ryan Evans, who's the CEO and co-founder over at Bruz Beers. We talked about the festival, so that's coming up. That sounds so good. Ryan was kind enough to invite me. I'm going. So I'm going to be in Denver. If anyone's a Denver listener, I'm going to be at this Belgian Import Festival, so stay tuned for that. It sounds amazing. I can't wait to go meet Ryan in person. He was on the show a couple months ago when I did that joint episode with Rod J over at Rod J Beer Ventures when we were talking about the tariffs. So it's nice to talk to Ryan again, and I can't wait to meet him in person. On next week's show, I'm going to do another episode on THC beverages. I talked to Julie Rhodes over at Kick Fizz. That was a lot of fun. That's going to come out next week, so stay tuned for that if you like your THC beverages. Before we get into the beer and the rest of the episode, let me tell you about my week. So I was on vacation all of last week. Ruby and I had plans to go to Toronto. Had tickets to a Blue Jays game. We were going to Toronto. I was going to meet up with some Toronto folks. And if you fly standby, sometimes things don't work out the way you want. The flight to Toronto all of a sudden filled up. Plenty of open seats. Filled up. We did not go to Toronto, so we had a staycation. We did some touristy stuff. We did an architecture boat tour in the city, which was really good. We've been on one before with Cider Week here in Chicago, but this was just a straight architecture tour. Really cool if you ever visit Chicago, even if you live here and you've never been on one, it's worth it. It was a lot of fun, and it was nice. It was a 90-degree day in Chicago, so that was a lot of fun. So definitely do that. Another thing, my dog, Moira Rose. I love my dog to death. Sometimes Moira Rose is a pain in the ass. We take her, a couple weeks ago, we take her to the vet for her physical. The vet calls and said, we redid some of her numbers and there might be a small concern. So we're going to need you. And she's telling me this on the phone. I'm at work. I get this phone call like a week ago before I went on vacation saying, we're going to need another urine sample, but we're going to need a fresh morning sample. You can't have one during the day. You got to do it first thing in the morning. So you're going to need a fresh morning urine sample from your dog. The dog's a rat terrier. She's low to the ground. And did I mention she? So she squats. So she's got short legs. She's low to the ground. You ever try to get a urine sample from a small dog? So Ruby's taken her. Ruby's got her on a leash. I'm sitting here with the Chinese food container that I washed, and it's clean. but I'm trying to get underneath the dog to get a sample. The dog's looking at me like, dude, can I have a little privacy here? I'm trying to go outside and pee. Well, we got it. So the sample is at the vet. Let's all keep our fingers and toes and our paws crossed that these results come back fine. But yeah, if you ever need help getting a urine sample from a small dog, I'm your guy. In beer and beverage news, Jones Soda. Now they're still around. I remember them like 20 years ago. They would put out weird soda pops like Brussels sprouts and Thanksgiving stuffing, but they're still around. They're coming out with later this year in collaboration with the Crayola Crayon Company a 12 pack, and the box looks like a box of crayons. So these are going to be 12-ounce bottles with different flavors and colors. It's an awesome looking collaboration. So if you like obscure soda pops, you got to check this out from Jones and Crayola. Chicago had a Michelada festival for the past like 5, 6 years, something like that. And there would always be attended well. It was in the Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago. And I'm a little annoyed at this. They're canceling the festival due to, and this is a quote from the press release, due to the uncertainty surrounding artist visas and the rapidly changing political climate. They're no longer able to guarantee the full experience we had dreamed up for you with all your favorite artists. This is not cool. I'm not a big fan of the micheladas because I don't do tomato juice, but this is shitty. So that's all I'm going to say. But if you were looking forward to this festival, not going to happen this year. Campari is coming out with a non-alcohol spritz this summer. It's going to be called Crodino. This is blended with more herbs and spices than the Colonel uses for the original recipe. A 4-pack of this is going to set you back about $15. It's going to be available later this month in select markets. Chicago's one of them. So if you like a good spritz, and who doesn't, you want to try something non-alcoholic, look for Crodino from Campari. Hofbrau Munich, they're releasing in the United States their Hofbrauhaus Helles Lager. This is going to be available in 16.9-ounce cans. The label's really cool, and you're going to have to see it for yourself, but it's inspired by artwork from the 50s, so this really looks cool. You got to check this out from Hofbrau Munich. Wandering Monsters Brewing in Cincinnati and Hop Butcher here in Chicago, they're teaming up for Monster Coney Double Chili. This is going to be a double IPA checking in at 7.5%. This looks really cool. Pabst Blue Ribbon and Yancey's Cheese is coming out with the beer-infused cheddar cheese. I'm efforting right now to get someone from PBR or Yancey's on the show. Hopefully I'll get them on in the near future because I'm doing a show on beer and food. So this looks really cool. So hopefully, I mean, if you see it, just grab it, put it in the cart. But I'm hoping to get somebody from one of these companies on to talk about this. Narragansett Lager is celebrating 50 years of Jaws. Jaws is 50 years old, but they're coming out with retro cans like you saw in the movie. The legendary Robert Shaw was drinking Narragansett. So they're coming back with like the old school cans of that. I still can't believe Jaws is 50 years old. I remember my father, may he rest in peace, took me to see this, scared the shit out of me. At the time, I was like 8 years old. You don't take an 8-year-old to see Jaws. I mean, I just wanted to sit home and watch Super Friends. You take me to see this and scare me? But if you want the old school can, look for the old school Narragansett cans for the 50th anniversary of Jaws. Kingsford and Miller Lite are coming out with once again beer coal. Now, this is a charcoal made with Miller Lite. Now, they brought it out a couple years ago. It sold out really quick. It's going to be out nationally for a limited time this summer. So, if you like Miller Lite and you like charcoal, look for beer coal from Kingsford in Miller Lite. Speaking of grilling, and beer. Well, this one involves Budweiser and Bud Light. They're in collaboration with ESPN for a new Grill Like a Pro segment. This is going to feature Emmett Smith, formerly the Dallas Cowboys, and Ken Griffey Jr. from the Seattle Mariners, and for a couple weeks, the Chicago White Sox, and Traeger Grills. So you could win like a Traeger grill, some stuff, but this looked kind of cool. So you could grill like a pro with one of these two. So check this out from Anheuser-Busch, ESPN, and Emmett Smith and Ken Griffey Jr. All right, welcome back. Saturday, June 7th, from noon to 3 o'clock p.m., is the Belgian Import Festivals over at Bruz Beers. They are located at 1675 West 67th Avenue in Denver. You could sample beers from 18 world-class breweries while enjoying some of the great offerings over at Bruz themselves. I'd like to welcome back Ryan Evans, the CEO of Bruz Beers. Ryan, welcome back.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having me and cheers, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. It's still a little early, but we'll do cheers later. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this festival and thank you for the invite. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. We've only talked via Zoom screen here and the rest of the team over at Brews.
Yeah, it'll be good to have you in town for the day and for the event, and what a special day it's going to be.
You know, if this beer thing doesn't work out, I see a future in like wedding planning and event planning for you. How did you manage to get all of these breweries in one spot?
I know this has just been a dream of mine for 9 years since we started the brewery. It was a culmination of a lot of really cool factors that came together finally. Obviously we guide trips to Belgium every year through our brewery, so we'll take 30, 40, 50 people a year over to Belgium, and we've got some great friendships formed over there. Of course, all we do is make Belgian style beer here in America. And then the importers that we've become friends with over the years through our annual Belgian Brew Fest, which is in-state kind of Colorado focused, but we get a couple of the importers together. And so all of that kind of came to a head when the importers were looking for a new place to showcase Belgian beer in America in what they call Belgian Beer Week USA. Yeah, so they did one a few years ago in Washington D.C. and it was a huge hit. And so they reached out and said, "I wonder where we could go." And a couple of the importers said, "I know just the place." And I couldn't believe they threw our name out there. I was so excited, and for a while there was, did we get it? Did we land it? And sure enough, we did. And now here we are, about less than a month out of kind of living the dream.
Well, who are some of the breweries that are going to participate at the festival this year?
Yeah, we have so many. We have about 18 of them on now. I think a couple more are trying to jump in, which we'd welcome as well. We've got Trappist breweries, got regular brew, Orval, Rochefort, Chimay, Saint Bernardus, Dubuisson, De Haveman. We've got Lindemans and Rodenbach. The former brewer for Rodenbach is coming, and it's going to be great to catch up with him. St. Fulian, Van Steenberg, Verhaeg, Westmala. We've got some more in there too. So it's just an incredible lineup of what I don't think Colorado's ever had all in one spot for one afternoon. It's going to be quite the gathering of beer.
Yeah, I'm like super excited. I know before we started this, I had to run to my liquor store and grab a couple that I'll have later on in the show. And I'm looking forward to finally getting to try some of your beers as well.
Yes, yes. Yeah, of course we'll have our bar open. We've kind of committed the festival space out to all of the importers. So we won't have a tent out there, but we'll certainly be hosting our beers inside, and before and after will certainly be the gathering place as well. So it'll be so much fun to have some beers with some of these people that are going to be over here. We've got brewery owners, we got brewers, we've got a lot of the representatives themselves flying over from Belgium to present these beers that they work so hard to make.
Yeah, I mean, I'm went over your beer list since the last time we talked. You haven't run a tap line to Chicago yet. So looking at your beer list, I mean, I want to try that Diablo Colorado and the Vienna Lager. Those are two that I've circled.
Yes.
Like I want to make sure I grab those.
Yeah, that Diablo Colorado is such a popular brand for us. It's a golden strong made with all Colorado ingredients, and it's just really kind of a showpiece of what we do here. We say we're Belgian inspired but Colorado made, and I think that's the perfect example of that. Is where we love golden strongs, but we used all Colorado ingredients and kind of put our touch on it. So we're definitely an American made but Belgian inspired brewery.
Oh, and because Emily over at Rabcraft, and thank you, Emily, she sent out the info and like the press release look awesome. You got some really like looks like a killer lineup of food trucks also.
Yeah, yeah. Emily's a great partner. She knows everyone in this industry. It's so much fun working with her, and as you know, she put us together. So thanks. I agree. Thanks, Emily. But yeah, we've got a whole mess of stuff going on. So we've got the Big Belly Brothers Barbecue. What's more American than barbecue, right?
Yeah.
So. I mean, it's a Belgian brew fest, but we also wanted to showcase America. So that kind of covers that base. We've got Max and Mutts. This is a family-owned business that does macarons. They make them for both dogs and humans. So they got dog treat macarons and human macarons. Pretty awesome. We got Papa Frites. Of course, frites are fries in Belgium. So we got to have a frites truck. So we invited a newer frites truck in town. And then we got Shuck Brothers. They're gonna do, we're gonna be shucking some oysters, kind of class the joint up a little bit. So we got a little bit of everything going on as far as food trucks.
My dog already, she's listening. She gave me kind of the side eye, like, you're going to bring one of those macarons home for me. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Well, you remind me. We'll get you set up with some macarons, and then we do some in-house dog treats that Cosmos, the a dog treat company here in Colorado, makes for us, and they're human grade dog
Okay.
biscuits. So you would
Oh,
love those. So we'll get your dog all set up.
all right. Yeah, she'll be happy. Now, it looks like you've got a really awesome band playing this year as well.
Yeah, Boot Gun is their name. Westward is a big magazine newspaper conglomerate here in the Denver area, and they kind of follow who's who in the music industry and the food and the drink and all that. And they said that it's Denver's rock band to watch this year. So they're kind of a hot band, high energy sound. Vintage rock is kind of what they go for, but with a more of a modern edge to them.
All
So
right.
it's going to be really cool to have this band. We've never had them at the venue before, and it should be fun to have them playing as part of this whole event.
Well, looking at like some of the pictures from like past events, like the space looks really cool. Like it looks like there's a band shell there in the middle. So that's where they'll be at playing for, all the attendees.
Yeah, we kind of put the band right in the middle just to keep it live and kind of provide that vibe, and then we put all around the edges where all the vendor tents go. So that's where all the brewers will be around the edge, and then all the people are kind of in the middle, and you just wander from tent to tent. We cap it. We don't want more than 500 people there. It's a really comfortable number for that space. In past events, we could have sold double that or triple that, and it's just not the right feel. So for us, it's always been quality over quantity. So we've capped it, and you should be able to get to every single tent during this festival and have some conversations while doing it, both with new friends you're going to meet in line, but also some of these brewers and brewery representatives. So it should be just a really comfortable event. This is the size and scale that we've done in the past, and we think it's the right way to do it.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So sometimes you get to places where it's just everybody's just elbows in, it's just too crowded and no one can really enjoy himself. So it's cool that you cap it out so everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, and that's kind of our whole process. It should be good. People are like, "Is there a VIP hour?" And my reply is, "We're all VIPs that day. We're in a VIP hour. With the whole festival is VIP. Did you see this beer list? That's
Yeah.
VIP." So
Yeah. You're not going to get that at any other festival in the country.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, you do all Belgian style beers there at Brews. Looking at your bio, and it said that you were inspired backpacking through Europe. Do you remember the beer that you had that was like, "Oh, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life."
No doubt I do. You know, I was working my way from France up to Amsterdam like every good college student at the time. I think I was looking for a good library or
Yeah,
something up.
exactly. Yeah.
And I had a train to change in Brussels. I had never been to Brussels before. I was a beer guy at home. I thought I knew a lot about beer, and so here I am in Brussels. This is in the late '90s. I go to a pub, a bar just to pass the time, and guy brings me a book of beers to choose from. Literally a book. So I'm flipping through. I don't know any. What's a single? What's a double? I didn't know any of this. It was like a different language to me. And so he comes back, and I said, "Well, what do you drink?" And he goes, "Triple." And I go, "Okay." And then he goes, "Triple Carmelite." And I don't know if it was a bad word or what. I just
Yeah.
said, "Okay, I'll take it." And he brings this gold colored, beautiful, frothy beer to my table in this beautiful glass. And I could still remember that first sip I ever had. I mean, it's changed my life. I mean, here I am running a Belgian beer bar now, and I've got all these friends around the world. I'm guiding trips about. I mean, that sip itself. So triple was the style. Carmelite was the brand, of course. It was the first beer I brewed as a home brew with Charlie, my partner who helped me start the brewery. It was also the first style of beer that we brewed to open the brewery. So we had a triple on day one, and to this day, it's still my favorite style is a Belgian triple.
That's probably my favorite beer glass is the triple Carmelite beer
Yeah,
glass. That is such like a cool glass. Yeah, great beer also. Like
beautiful.
doing those styles of beer, do you get a lot of like people coming to the brewery? And like I know we have places here that just focus on like European lagers, and it's always funny sitting at the bar, somebody coming up asking for a hazy. And do you get like people like that, or like what's it has to gratify you as a brewer and a brewery owner to see people that maybe never liked beer because they're used to Budweiser, Coors, Miller, having a great Belgian style beer and just being blown away.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, this American beer culture is so IPA centric still, and has been. And when we were going to open the brewery almost 10 years ago, and people are like, "You can't just do Belgian style; you'll go broke," and it's impossible. And here we are doing it. Yeah, nothing makes me more happy than someone come in and say, they don't really care for Belgian styles, and I go, "Oh, great, let's sit down." I'll tell you, the 4 or 5 out of the 20 tap handles, they'll go, "Man, I had no idea." I think what we were up against early on was a lot of breweries tried to do everything for everyone, right? So they created so many styles, and it was hard. So Belgian beers take more time. And when you're used to turning a beer out in say 2 weeks and having that IPA out on the table, and all of a sudden you brew a triple and it needs 4 or 5 weeks, they start to turn them early. They're maybe not finished out, so they're a little bit sweet. And so we were, I think, up against early on of people who had some bad American-made Belgian-style beers, and so they assumed all Belgian beers were that way. And thankfully, they set foot in our place, and we had a lot of fun tasting them. And now we've got this loyal base it's really fun. Like the original location in Midtown, these guys, they've lived this thing for 9 years. They think it's totally normal, and then they go travel. And then they come back and they go, "Ryan, we had no idea how special this brewery was. Now that, I asked for a triple 3 times on my vacation and they were all terrible." And we're like, "Well, this is why we're laser focused on Belgian style."
I can't tell you how excited I am to be trying this, and hopefully, they'll let me through TSA after sampling 18 different beers.
Yes.
Yeah. We talked a little earlier, and when we talked a couple months ago, when we did that live stream with Rajay, you're talking about using local Colorado ingredients as much as, humanly possible. For
Yep.
those that, didn't tune in for that episode, why is that so important for you and for, the company, Bruce?
Yeah, for us, it's always been about keep it close, keep it in the neighborhood, keep it, with friends, family, within the state. Obviously, in this new market with tariffs, boy, are we blessed there that we're not importing a lot, right? But it's always been important for us to be able to tell the story and meet the grower or the farmer or whoever it is, meet our partners, and be part of their lives as much as we're a part of their lives. So like for us, these hops that we get, they're over in Billy Goat Farms, and that's on the western slope, so a few hour drive from here. And these guys are doing just incredible stuff. They've won national awards for their hops the last couple of years. They're cranking out some amazing stuff, beating the hop growers that have been in it for generations, right? And so we're spoiled there, and we love to reward them with bigger and bigger orders as we grow. We get our grain from about 45 minutes north of the brewery at Root Shoot Malting, another family owned establishment. They grow it, they malt it, they deliver it. It's all about less than an hour away. I mean, we just love being able to talk with those guys and say, hey, here's what we're looking for. They can tweak things and try new things every year with us, and we've really got their grains dialed in for what we need. Our yeast is propped up locally up the street about 20 minutes. So there's a lab there that keeps a lot of our proprietary yeast and our blends there, and so it's all people I can just call directly. It's like you, Dave. I can call you and say, hey, Dave, here's what's going on.
Yeah.
I can call these guys directly, the owners, the farmer, and they're all involved. They all know what we do. We know what they do, and together we kind of rise together. And for us, that's the purpose of a brewery: is community wise, we should all be rising together.
Absolutely. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Actually, Billy Goat, I bought some of their hops because I've made hop water at home. So I've used their hops to make a hop water, like a non-alcoholic hop water. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
Billy Goat's a great spot. I love their stuff.
Yeah, they're doing really cool stuff. And in fact, we just got back from there over the weekend. Our general manager went over there. We delivered their first order of beer. They're opening a summer beer garden in the hop field. And of course, they wanted beers with their hops in it. So we gladly drove over some beers, and they've opened up about a dozen camp spots that you can rent out if you're in the area, and you can camp amongst the hops. So they're really kind of bringing this agro tourism, showing kind of what's behind the curtain a bit to the public now, and with beer tastings and hop camping, they're really doing some cool stuff. And again, it's just a husband wife
Yeah.
combo. It's so cool to see.
Now, looking at those pictures of like your event space, looking in the corner, it looked like you had some small area set aside for like farming. Do you do anything for like the salads at the brewery or any hops?
Yeah, so we do a different seasonal beer. We'll grow some ingredients out there. So some of the beers we've done over the years have been so popular. One of the most popular is the beet saison. So red beets put into a saison, earthy, bright red, just an incredible food pairing beer. We've done a carrot saison that was really popular. Grew a bunch of carrots that year. We did a what was it? A lemon cucumber. So it looks like a lemon, but it's actually a cucumber. That was amazing. We made a blonde beer out of that. We have a lot of fun. That's how they do it in Belgium. Whatever is coming fresh and coming through, they brew the beer. So like we'll drive over next to Billy Goat is a family farm called the Talbots, and the Talbots have been around multi-generation farming over there, and they grow apples and grapes and all sorts of great stuff and peaches. And so whatever they've got ready that it looks good at the end of the season, we drive over, we pick it up, and we start making beers. We taste them, we sit down, and we go, okay, this is what we're cranking out. So we've done a lot of just peach saisons and peach blondes. We've got a lemon raspberry coming out this summer. We've just got some fun stuff, and again, it's just seasonal, just like they do in Belgium.
Yeah, so whatever's in the crate, that's what you're making. It's perfect.
Yep. Yeah, we had one year, Jake drove over and he's supposed to pick us up a pallet of peaches, right? And so he picks up the pallet of peaches, but he gets back to the brewery and we open the back gate and there's a pallet of grapes there. And we said, what, Jake, these aren't peaches? He goes, no, the
Shrunk.
peaches
Yeah.
are behind the grapes. And we go, we're not a winery. And he
Yeah.
goes, try these. And we tried them and they were just unbelievable. So we wound up making a beer out of those grapes, and one of my favorite sours we've ever made. So again, it was kind of that opportunistic. This is a special fruit. The timing is right. And we just kind of built a recipe around it. And man, was it worth it.
Oh. You also have a second location. That's at 1495 York Street. What are the differences in the two spots?
Yeah, great question. That one came about 5 years ago. We wanted to have a little bit of a city vibe into the brand and get our beers down closer to downtown. So we've got such a great following just north of town, and we wanted this funky kind of city vibe. And so we found this old historic building there, and we built out a space. We took two old spaces and put them together. So you've got a lot of exposed brick and metalwork. It's got this kind of oasis of a patio in the back that's just really a treat. And then it's got this covered area that used to be a garage back in the day that's now kind of a covered event space over there. And it's just been really fun. It's a totally different vibe, but yet similar. We brought a lot of the aspects, so you feel the brand over there, but it's a total different clientele. A lot of the clients over there are walkable. It's much more dense city vibe to it, and it's just so fun to pop back and forth between the two and see the differences. Yet it's the same beers and the same spirit going on. It's really fun.
Now, do you brew at both spots or you just brew at the main location?
No, that was a tough decision for us. Actually, it wasn't tough. We knew we didn't want two different brew houses. We didn't want two different brew teams. We've got such a synergy going on, and we all work so well together in one spot. So, kind of feeding it from the main brewery makes the most sense. We're right now looking for a third location. In fact, I toured a building again this week that's looking like it could be promising on the west side of town, closer to the mountains. So, for us, our no list is a lot bigger than our yes list. We're not looking to be in a strip mall. We're looking for a place that we can add value to the community and bring something new and exciting, and hopefully support those around us. And so, we've been looking for a third location for a couple of years now, and when we find the right spot, we'll know and we'll pull the trigger. We wanna own it. We feel like we're our best landlord. And but yeah, we can feed that one from the main brewery as well. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at is probably a third location. We do some distribution, of course, some restaurants and liquor stores, but that's not our main business. That side of the business isn't nearly as fun as over the counter. We love talking with people and sharing stories and getting to know communities. And for us, that's where the reward is. So we really focus on this model of over the counter and selling our beers to our customers more than we do to put, we're not trying to be a regional distribution brewery by
Mhm.
any means.
Yeah, it's always better to know who the customer is,
Yeah.
face to face. You know who's buying the product, you know
Yes.
who's enjoying it. I mean, yeah,
Yep.
that's 100 times better. Well, you
Yes.
mentioned that, you have some stuff for distro. Looking at the website, you also do crowlers and chubbies. But what I need to know, do you have anything in a 3 ounce or less can? Because I got to hop back to TSA at the end of this beer festival.
We need to start working on those.
Yeah.
I feel like in Belgium they'd have them for the babies anyway, so
Yeah,
we
exactly. Yeah.
this out.
It was weird because I've never seen a can that small, but the other day there's a little it's a German butcher shop and market in my neighborhood. And I went there to get some bratwursts for another project. I wanted to get authentic German bratwursts. And they had to be maybe a 2 ounce can of different cocktails. So they had a Negroni and all that. Like, that would be perfect. I could fill up some of these cans.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
I'd rather have that than toothpaste on my trip, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Get a little Negroni, it'll wash out anything. You're good to go there.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, we're still I mean, we do canning obviously, and then we're one of the few that still does bottles with cork and cage and bottle conditioning, which we're pretty proud of, but it's becoming harder and harder to source bottles, corks, and cages, but so far we've been able to keep that tradition going, and it's a very Belgian thing, and to be able to condition in the bottle. But yeah, I think 3 ounce cans. I got to look into this.
Yeah. If not, I'll just bring my suitcase on the 7th so I could
Yes,
bring some stuff back with me.
yes, do that for sure.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, I appreciate it so much. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. If you're in the Denver area, once again, it's Saturday, June 7th from noon to 3 at Bruz Beers, 1675 West 67th Avenue. It's the Belgian Import Festival. How do you go wrong? You get Belgian beers, great food, great music. Ryan and the team over at Bruz. Ryan, thanks again, brother. I appreciate this. I can't wait to meet you in person, sir.
Dave, I look forward to having beers with you, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. What a special day for Colorado and for Belgian beer. And I just look forward to sharing some beers with you, my friend.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll see you next month, sir.
All right. Cheers, everyone.
All right. One of the beers going to be served at the Belgian Import Fest is the Trappist Rochefort. I know I mispronounced that. I'm sure there's going to be somebody in Belgium that corrects me. But this is a quad. I don't know if I've ever had this on the show. I'm looking forward to it. According to everything I read, this could be aged up to 5 years. It's hard enough getting a date code on a U.S. beer, but I believe this is already 2 years old. So the best by date, if I'm reading this correctly, is October 29th of 2028. So I think this is a couple years old. 11.3% alcohol. Let's crack this open. Oh, this has a great color, beautiful foam. I don't get a lot out of the aroma. Now, I mentioned on the show, I think it was last week or the week before, it could be me. I don't get much out of the aroma on this. I mean, it smells good, but it's very faint to me. So let's taste it. Man, is that good. There's just so much going on with the taste. I'm getting a lot of the spice, but I'm almost getting like a wine, if you will. I mean, there's a lot going on and it's all good. Let me have some more of this. It's weird. I know this is going to sound weird, but almost has like a leather thing I've got going on. I think it tastes spectacular. I mean, this is so damn good. I mean, it's a phenomenal beer. If you see it, the Trappist Rochefort 10, by all means, you have to throw it in a cart. I picked it up. It was like an 11.2 ounce bottle or something like that. Smaller bottle, but it's just spectacular. Oh, yeah, definitely. Ryan, I need to find this tent at the festival next month because this is phenomenal. If you see this one, throw it in the cart, grab a couple of them. It's just that good of a beer. All right, the next beer from Belgium that I'm going to have is Westmalle. This is their Trappist Double. This is 7%, 11.2 ounce bottle here. I'm looking forward to it. This is all research and development for the Belgian Import Fest. I don't want to go in there blind. I need to sample some of these ahead of time. Let's crack open this from Westmalle. Another one. Beautiful color. This has a lot of foam like the first one did, but I mean, it's good. Nice color here. I get a little more out of the aroma. This smells more fruity, if you will, but I think it smells really good. Yeah. That's fantastic. This definitely has more of a fruity taste, but I really like it. Kind of getting a banana plum feel for this. That's kind of what it's hitting my taste buds, but I think it tastes really good. Yeah, it has a really good finish to this. I'm digging it. I would drink more Belgians and I don't know why I don't, but I should. And maybe, after this festival, I'm just going to be the Belgian beer in front. So that could be my next go round with the podcast. I'll just drink Belgian beers all the time, but this is really good. If you see this one, definitely put it in the cart. It's an excellent beer. Everything about this is great. The color, the foam, the mouthfeel, the flavors, the way it finishes, everything on this is just top notch. If you see it somewhere, you got to put it in the cart. I think it's that good. It's a terrific beer. They have others, and I should try some of their others. I know they do a triple, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they do an extra, but I could be wrong on that. But Westmala, great stuff. You see it, you know what to do. Put it in the cart. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Beer in Front. I thank you very much for listening. I want to thank Ryan Evans over at Bruz Beers. You guys have to check them out and check out the Belgian Import Festival. Just drive. I fly standby. I don't take my airplane seat. So drive to Denver and check it out. Have a great week, everyone. I'll talk to you next week. And remember, sometimes the beer and the Belgian beer in front of you is the best one yet.